Game week 38. We're here. The finale of the FPL season. It's been an interesting season. Like you've had the World Cup in between, meaning we've had three wild cards, which has been to be honest quite a fun year. And then we've just I feel like since game week 27, 8, there's just been so many double game weeks. So it's actually been quite a fun FPL week. But what we've found is, which we've known before, double game week players doesn't always mean crazy points. Which is where I thought I'd start with just a game week 37 review. So this is the points I got. Haaland, right? City had won the league, got an assist. Uninspiring, really. I probably, if it wasn't him though, who would I've done? I guess Fernandez. So missed out on 5 points there, but you never knew if Haaland started one. Well, I guess he did start one game. The upside would have been pretty good. I gambled wrong, so I think Trippier. So I had a choice. I knew I had a choice. Didn't feel any of the Chelsea guys, so it was either Isaac or Trippier. But Trippier was yellow flagged, and so I just went for Isaac. I thought they would kill Leicester. Obviously, they kept a clean sheet, got Champions League, so it's a shame I've missed out on 8 points there. But just overall, at least in regards to my team, Fernandez coming in pretty well. Other than that, it's kind of uninspiring. Sure, well, I guess actually they conceded in the last few minutes, but got a nice clean sheet. But other than that, wasn't amazing. Botman and Trippier on the bench was horrible. But we just have a look at Team of the Week. And wow, I did not realise. Okay. So Ortega really rubbing salt into injuries of like being an Edison owner, playing both 90 minutes, so keep a clean sheet. He got 4 save points and then 4 bonus points. Ridiculous. Other than that, Casemiro becoming the Rashford we knew. No, getting quite a few points there. Tony getting banned clearly did affect Mbuemo. He taking up the mantle. I mean, he's generally, even at the start of the season, was putting up quite good XG numbers. So 0.28, 0.56, 0.49. And recently, not too bad numbers either. 0.97, 0.1, not great. Oh, that's XGI, but let's just use that then. 0.47, 0.04, 1, and then near to 1 as well. He's scored 2 goals and assists, but yeah. And then Ferguson. So Brighton have been such hot property, but it was the clear template was a defensive player, Steele or Estupinan, and 2 midfielders. 2 of Matoma, McAllister, March, but March has been out of favour really. Ferguson, I feel like was not on many people's radar just because most people would have locked into midfielders, and then because of his injuries, like he's not been in it. But great game against Southampton, getting him 14 points. Whoever gambled on Ferguson definitely paid off, and Mitrovic returning to the goals. Scored 2 goals, pretty good really. Against United, will be a bit trickier though. But yeah, overall, interesting game week. So we have a look at it. All the City boys probably didn't do as well as we would have wanted, but they had wrapped up the league by then. Pains me to say as a Arsenal fan. It was a coincidence, but apparently I'm wearing sky blue today. Guess is, yeah, how sad I am feeling really. But City have been good this year. But in terms of the other double game weekers, Rashford, he missed the first game. Brighton players weren't amazing. Really more the single game weekers, so the Bowens, Wisa, and Mbuemo, Mitrovic. How many is that? 4. Everton, yeah, no. 4, 5. Oh, Goal did well actually. Assist. So 5 double game weekers. Sorry, 5 single game weekers. So it's always nice to have the shiny toys, but if it doesn't work out, yeah. I mean, overall rule of thumb is you just get more opportunity to score points. So I don't, when people say, well, the art of the balance of single game weekers and double game weekers is one that if you could do well, you do well in FPL. But let's have a look at the final game week. Interesting, Shaw's been downgraded. Right. These are the fixtures. And let's quickly get the league up the table. With United winning, Liverpool out of the Champions League. Salah was quite sad about that. He made a post, but top 4 secure. Newcastle, an amazing job. And then the other European spots, yeah, so Villa can't, but basically Villa need to win to hold off, say, Brentford or Spurs, basically. And then relegation, it's out of Leeds, Leicester, Everton. So we're looking at for teams that have something to play for. We've got Leeds, Leicester, Everton. Would you really want many of the assets? No. I guess Tottenham, Villa, Brentford. That's 6. And then that's it, actually. Six teams with something to play for. So with that in mind, who Villa got? Villa have Brighton. Brighton have nothing to play for. I think it could be quite a high-scoring game, like a 4-2 to Villa, for example, because Brighton generally just have been quite attacking against the Zerbi, but their defense hasn't been amazing either. And Villa need to win. Massive crunch game, Leeds and Spurs. Spurs need it for European football. Do they want it? Do they really want the Conference League? I mean, it was where they belong. But against Leeds, who need to survive relegation, I wouldn't be shocked if Leeds pulled an upset, survive, Spurs are out of Europe, finishes off their horrible season well, And then Everton gets Bournemouth. Bournemouth are safe, so it means Everton are a team that just have to win that game, whilst Bournemouth they obviously will care, but not as much. Leicester playing West Ham as well, and is that all the teams that matter? For Brentford gets that City. That's interesting. You can't unsee City killing it though, surely. So generally the teams to target. Liverpool against Southampton's interesting. Bit more worried now it means nothing. In a sense, Liverpool can't get Champions League, but Southampton are awful. Firmino's last game, something to consider. One thing I quite like as well, but maybe it's my bias, Arsenal against Wolves. Arsenal have had a big wobble, to be honest, in a sense. We've known for a while City are probably going to win the league, so I feel like it really has affected the players, but I'm hoping... The Arsenal haven't been great at home, actually. They can finish off the season on a high, which has been an amazing season. The City game, minefield. Who's going to start? Is Haaland even going to play? Something to consider. Other games to note, that's about it, really. Nothing else too crazy. Just maybe something to worth considering. Would United rest their players as well? Just with the FA Cup in mind, as long with City as well. Okay. So let's have a look at final time players to look at and how to chase mini leagues. Cool. So if you're chasing a mini league and need to change goalkeeper, well, I would be shocked if you need to change goalkeeper, but Edison has put a spanner in and works for me, and then I've got Kepa against Newcastle, so maybe that's not ideal. But I think if you're going to chase a mini league, goalkeeper is not the way to do it. But if it was, actually, before I do this, let me go over why this is important and why it reminded me was Fantasy Football Pundit, that's the site. These are the probabilities for teams to keep a clean sheet. Everton top, Arsenal, then Liverpool, then Palace, then United, closing out the top 5. So if we were looking for... So I think actually defenders are going to be quite weird for this week, because it might be confirmation bias, might just be a theory, but the last game week of the season typically can pull out crazy goals, basically. And so if you had to change your goalkeeper, defender or goalkeeper, then looking at the probability of a team keeping clean sheets is obviously important. These will, I've mentioned in other videos, but for those who don't know, these probabilities were being extracted from, I'm guessing, well, actually, yeah, exactly, would have come from betting websites, and you just basically, from the chance of, say, Everton keep a clean sheet, you just work out the probability from that. But okay, so before I go to the actual players to target, one thing worth to look at is from the 1st of May, the type of teams that have had the best XG. Brighton has had the best amount of XG. To be fair, they played 6 games, so can I not get per 90? That's annoying. Okay, fine. Not crazy important, but sure. Caveat with the fact that Brighton have got 6 game sample here, but their XG was 12.6, United 12.26, City with 10, Newcastle with nearly 10 as well, so they would be pretty high. Everton with 10. Interesting, Everton's got quite high XG in 4 games. Just look at the bottom. To be fair, it is the teams that played 3 times, but still quite low. So if you did this, it would be 3. Doesn't move you up that much. Here, about 3.2. Yeah. This one 3.6, 4.4. So climbing up with Palace, to be fair. Spurs one's interesting. So actually with Spurs, if you doubled it, closer to 8 relative to Brighton. This 8, interesting for Southampton because they're rubbish. Villa 9, sure, fine. Arsenal, interestingly, 4. So if you add half of that, closer to 9. So their attack isn't that good recently. But anyway, let's have a look. Maybe have a look at the. No, we won't. We won't look at that. Fine. Place to target. As I said, goalkeeper shouldn't be the place you find ways to win your mini league, but if you want United, I think I could see like a 1-0 United type game. I think they're going to rest quite a lot of players. I think De Gea played. Oh no, he played each game. He's played every game so far. I don't see him get dropped, even if it's like means nothing to them. Arsenal, I already showed they have quite a high chance of keeping a sheet, so worth it if you want an Arsenal defender who's not, as in a goalkeeper. Pickford means a massive game against Bournemouth at home. It's definitely an option. If you're going to go for, well, I guess we'll get to it in defenders. And then John Stone, taking the starting pot from Gaeta for Palace. Against Nottingham Forest, can definitely see. I mean, to I see as much as, what was the probability? 35%, I see Forest scoring, to be honest, but that's just me. Defenders, so actually quite short because I do feel it's quite hard to call which teams are going to keep a clean sheet generally, I think. If you haven't got Trippier, probably wouldn't go for him actually against Chelsea, but he's just there as also a nod of what an amazing season he's had. He's obviously most likely going to break the 200 mark. So here is just one of those where against Southampton, he's got attack and return. Most likely to keep a clean sheet. If you haven't got Trent, which I don't, very good option to have or add him in. I'll discuss later a bit more about how to find the certain differentials. So of this list, I'll tell you guys who will be differential. So we look at Ben White's only 60% owned now. Did it have the percentage? Well, I guess we can have a look at the numbers. Oh, still quite high relative to what he was. Anyway. Arsenal, would they keep a clean sheet against Wolves? Could see it. Could Can I see Wolves scoring? Maybe, but I just don't think Wolves have been amazingly in attack. Might just be because of how they are generally, though. But then, do I trust Arsenal keeping clean sheet? No. So, but if I would go for it, one, White or Gabriel typically would be one. I just wouldn't probably go for them long. Well, not long term, but I think it's scary to own them. Tarkowski got the goal threat. Yeah, got good goal threat. Bournemouth, they have to win against Bournemouth to give them a chance to stay up. No, if they win. No, if they draw. Oh. Yeah. Okay, they kind of have to win, but a draw would mean if Leicester win, they'll be fine. No, if Everton draw, if Leicester win, Leicester will stay up. So they do need to win, and I can see like a clean sheet 1-0 as well. Tarkowski header, that would be crazy for FPL. Midfielders, Salah, if you don't have him against Southampton, I think he'll be ridiculous. He's clearly motivated to show everyone Liverpool should have got to the Champions League. Odegaard, right. He's owned by quite a lot of people, and of the Arsenal midfielders, he's been one of the ones performing the best. So Martinelli's out for the season now. His XGI, 0.51, 0.67, dropped off these two games and their losses. So what can you take from it? Not amazing, to be honest. But as captain, playing at home, interesting to see if these two... Yeah, one was at home, one's away. He's won... Well, him or Saka, basically, who I'll come to now. Oh, got a knock. Interesting. Well, I assume he would play, but that does put a span onto other people's works because he's now 27%. It is quite high. It is quite high. What's Salah now? But I feel like a lot of people are overlooking Arsenal players because they had to focus on the double game weeks. So, yeah. So now, like, we can consider him as, the last week punt. Rashford played 60 minutes. I would think maybe he starts to get a bit more match fitness, but probably comes off early. But against Fulham, he probably score a goal. He's just generally been, since 2023, since the World Cup, been crazy. Eze got an England call up, has been a monster. Assists, 2 goals, nothing, goal, nothing, 2 goals, a goal, assist since Hodgson came in. One of the form players, differential, 9.7% against Palace at home. I can see a good score. Seeing Roy Hodgson again, on a high, could see it. I'll just go on to the Arsenal player. So Xhaka, farewell tour. Are you a romantic for the Arsenal fans? I'm not sure I'm going to do that, but it's something, if I had a big lead in my fantasy, in my mini leagues, I'd maybe go for him, but I can't, I don't think. Fun pick, though, Right, so the City boys, who's going to play? I think Foden. Only played 50 minutes in Brighton. His XG is generally quite good. I would go for him if you need a City midfielder. Gundogan, will he start? He played 90 minutes in Brighton. What I see for him, personally, is he'll come on maybe for the last 20 minutes, control the game, if they're winning or whatever. Like a hurrah. Was at home, I think, as well. No, it's away. Wow, okay. Maybe come on, maybe even not, but just a goodbye to the City fans because he's not going to stay. Coming to Arsenal. Not really. Mahrez, he's played a lot of minutes, hasn't he? And Bernardo Silva in the Champions League typically has started on that right wing in both semi-finals. Maybe he starts. A lot of minutes, though. I would go Foden, but Mahrez is a shout. A bit cheaper Mahrez. I would go Foden, Mahrez, Gundogan if you're going to go for a City midfielder. Rodrigo, as he always is, flagged. Basically just one of those players where he's a differential, a big differential. And if you want a player who's playing in a game that means something, Spurs' defense is rubbish because they're rubbish. Okay, calm down a bit, but Rodrigo, he started really well this season, if you want a differential. And then Gakpo. So, if you got Salah, you probably won't get another Liverpool midfielder, but why not? Or maybe if you're a romantic, you'll see in a minute, having Firmino. But Gakpo against Southampton is kind of a luck of a draw type thing. I think it's going to be a behemoth of a scoreline. I think Liverpool are going to kill Southampton. So Gakpo could be a shout. If you need a differential, what's he owned by? 5.3%. To really need a midfield differential, I think Gakpo could be the perfect one. Haaland. What's going to happen with Haaland? I maybe touch upon it a bit more in my team selection part. But he's played 90 minutes there. 60 minutes against Chelsea. I'm not sure he's starting. I'm not sure. Need to hear more what Pep says. I'm not sure he's starting. So do you sell him / just can't captain him? We can talk about captains when we do. Kane. Last game for Spurs, obviously. Sorry for the Spurs fans watching here. I feel like I'm just destroying you guys. But last game against Leeds, he's going to at least score. That's just guaranteed. He's Kane. Had an amazing... If it wasn't Haaland, genuinely, I know everyone said this, but 28 goals, 8 assists, and 37 games. He's basically contributed a goal every single game against what is a really... being a horrible team. But how much do they want Europe? I don't think they do. And then Leeds need to win. Could it be a cagey 1-0? Leeds... I think... For Kane's goodbye, I think you might give them a good lesson. Leeds are going to go down. Sam Allardyce is not going to do it. Deitch is going to do it. Right. Probably wouldn't... I mean, actually, the Chelsea defence is worth the target. We saw against United. United won 4-1. Crazy. Wilson, he has been ridiculous. And 4 double-digit hauls in the last 6 games. I was silly to not do him in Game Week 36. Really silly. Would have wrapped up everything in regards to my mini leagues, but you live and you learn. I think he's... If you want... a differential? 70%. If you need a striker to target, I think Wilson could be worth it. Last game of the season could be a very good game. Newcastle, Chelsea, like a 2-2 type thing. It means nothing. It's hard. Jesus. XG hasn't been that great. 0.3, 0.6, 0.8, 0.35. Last scored against Chelsea. He's not a bad differential, if you can call him that at 28%, but I think quite a lot of people won't have him. And I think against Wolves, Arsenal can really show up. Mitrovic, touched upon him in the Game 37 review, has 2 goals against United. I think United could possibly keep a clean sheet, so I then wouldn't go for him, but Alvarez, he's got to start, isn't he? The question is just with Haaland or without. Probably without, I'd think. When he started, he's generally done well. I guess the stretch wasn't great, but 6.2%, great differential. Starting for City, can't go wrong. We'll leave with him, actually. End of him. Isaac, similar to Wilson. I wouldn't go for him. I'd go for Wilson if I had to. But I guess he's more just I have him. So if you want him, target the Chelsea defence. Just any outside shouts? I thought I did some Villa players, actually. I had a Jacob Ramsey. 1.3%. XGI of 0.48. 0.24, 0.15, 0.1. Has scored back-to-back goals. Scored a goal and assist against Newcastle. Assist against Forest. Then did have a spell. Not scoring, but then also assisted a goal Chelsea-Bournemouth. He's had a really good year. 6 goals, 6 assists. Against Brighton, who can be bit shaky in the defence recently. Could be a good outside shout. Have I missed anyone? Eze, England Club, I mentioned. Yeah, fine. And then amongst the teams, anyone else I think worth noting? Not really. Yeah, to be honest, not really. It's a really weird last game week, I'd say. But yeah, with that Saka flag, he was part of my plans actually, so bit of a spanner. But okay, captaincy. Do you think Haaland's going to start? If so, start captain him. Easy. I think most likely he won't, and so most obvious captain next is Salah. For more rogue shouts, it's not rogue. Kane, so it would be probably Salah, Haaland, just because I don't think he'll start, but I guess just take Haaland out of it then. Salah, Kane. Yeah, I would have said Saka actually, but with that flag, I guess you'll find out a bit closer to the time, but I guess the update was more he might be injured. Differential captain picks, Alvarez, Eze, and Jesus could get a monster score. Yeah. But I reckon most people do Salah for good reason. It's just really deciding if Haaland will start. If Haaland will start, Haaland. If not, probably Salah, right? It's quite an obvious pick. Okay. I thought it'd be quite fun to just come up with a team if I had a free hit or basically just a draft for this game week. So this is how I've done it, which might have to change now. Saka might be injured, but don't worry about the defense. I have done Iverson with a bit of thought that he will play, but as in he plays, but the rest is kind of just filler. Defense, I think defense is weird, so I kind of got off these percentages. Want the defenders who have the highest chance of keeping a sheet. Bournemouth, not much to play for. Pickford and Tarkowski also got great goal threat, so those two are, I would say, pretty good picks. White, I've picked here just because I think he's more likely to have attacking return. If you need high upside, I'd do Gabriel. Trent, Southampton, attacking returns. Maybe clean sheet. Ward-Prowse maybe says goodbye to the Prem. Well, I guess he's going to come back. He's not going to stay with Southampton. Not sure. Salah. Maybe Salah should have captain, but just assuming everyone starts here, then I guess Haaland. But Salah's captain. Eze. He's just been so good. England call up. Quite like him as a pick, to be honest. Odegaard against Wolves. I just think he could be quite good. Sign off for Arsenal. Saka. Okay, so I planned this beforehand. He's got a knock. Maybe I'll have a look at sort of replacements for him. And then the strike, Kane, last game for Spurs, I think he could be really good. Haaland, and also Kane's just been good. Haaland, if he starts, obviously will be a monster. So having Haaland and Alvarez is interesting, but Alvarez, I think he's just going to start. So that's what you're going to do. If you really think Haaland isn't going to start, someone like Firmino, option, romantic, and actually could be quite good. If you're not going for Saka, go back here just for the fixtures. Who would I go for? I've got Rashford there. So I guess maybe you'd just have Rashford. Yeah, I could do Rashford, to be honest. It's not the best pick. Yeah, maybe Rashford. Because I think he might start, you see. So you could do something like that. Or any other changes? Spurs, United. Don't fancy targeting United, you see. West Ham. No. Bowen. Bowen could be a shout if you want to target the Leicester defence instead of Saka as a replacement. Other than that, nothing screaming to me. Possibly Watkins if you really want, because he has been really good. He's slowed down a bit, so he didn't even make my watch list, but should we just have a look at him quickly? Watkins. Yeah. He had this purple patch. If you had owned him, you have even better. You are laughing. But this would be my draft. I'll bring back Haaland. And then Saka. I think Saka will play, to be honest. If not, have someone good on the bench. Maybe have like a McAllister here. Come on, if not. But I think with a yellow flag, he could be on the bench and then just come on. But yeah, this is my final Game Week 38 draft. Or like, this would be my final day best picks, essentially. Quite like the team generally. Weird to not have a United player, but I think they might rest after the FA Cup game. If not, big oversight for sure. But yeah, okay. My team. Should we have a look? What will I do? And for those who might be watching who are in competition with me, these are not locked in changes, so you know, just be careful. Okay, sure. I haven't looked actually at the previews on the BBC Sport, but if he's going to be injured, I'm just probably not going to play him. This is probably how my team will look. It's highly unlikely he'll come on for a few minutes, right? So if he starts, maybe a good chance he keeps a clean sheet. Cause Chelsea are going to concede. They are, you know? They're rubbish. So I would definitely start. Okay, I'm going to start Isaac, Haaland, Salah, McAllister, Matoma, Fernandes, Rashford, Trippier, Stones, Edison so far. Shaw needs to go. The question for me would be, but that's the pen. So I think Fernandes, I've rode it well in a sense that he got a goal here, nothing, assist, nothing, goal, probably nothing. I think I got a good 11 points from him. I may have to kick him to get a differential to help me in the mini leagues. I would say in my mini leagues, just for context, I have competition where they have Trent and Kane. So it's like, am I doing a defensive move? But is it defensive? Like, if I didn't view anyone as competition, would I still want Kane or Trent? And I think the answer is yes. So I just need to decide. So I'm not going to lock it in here. Okay, let's play around. My initial plan was this: Saka, Haaland, Kane, basically, which is ridiculous. But I think Haaland's not going to start. This is what I'll do. However, it feels a little bit risky to not have Haaland. And so I would do, say, Saka. So I have these 5, these 2. And then I guess I'll just get Trent. Or should I do it on the planner? I'll do it on the planner. It's a bit easier to see. So I'd start Trippier over Shaw. What did I do actually? SCP on the bench? Yeah, okay. Edison. Yep. Okay. I think Isaac, he's a weird one, but I think he might be due a goal basically. So the choices are Eze, Saka, I guess now maybe Odegaard. I really wanted Saka, but with the flag, I'm less sure. So let's try Eze. I quite like that pick. And then for him, can I get Kane? Oh, might have to be this. I guess the question then becomes, unless I take a -4. So everything's up in the air. Not going to lock anything here, to be honest. But Eze Kane, quite good. Or what was he? Isaac. And this should be interesting. Well, I'll do SDPN then, but unless I really wanted to, I'd get Trent. So I could do Eze Trent, or I might even just do Eze Trent Kane. Oh, but I can't do it if I want Trent. Okay. But I think Villa will score. Harry Botman. Yeah. These are going to be the options I'm considering. What I'm going to lock in, I really don't know, but that's something I will reveal. Or I'll just do an update on the channel type thing. I can be like, this is my score, whatever, for a minute or two. But I'm not going to lock anything now. Okay, fine. Have a great last FPL game week 38. It's been an interesting season, fun season, so many double game weeks. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.